Yeah, I think we are. I think we're live. I'll put the link everywhere so that people can catch up if they want to, so that they know we're live. Have you been watching any of the Starfleet Academy?
I've watched it. It's actually a lot better than I thought it would be.
Yeah, me too. I wasn't very hopeful, and I didn't really like the idea of it. But I think out of the 4 episodes, one has been a bit dud, but 3 have been quite good actually.
I was a bit confused about the Chancellor because she's apparently 400 years old, and I was like,
Yeah, she's a Lanternite
yeah, I
apparently.
didn't. I had to Google it.
Yeah,
I found it on Wikipedia that she's not actually human.
yeah.
Uh,
No, no, she's not. She's been
it's
around for a
not.
while. So in the universe that this Starfleet Academy exists in, she was around pre-burn, so she knows how the Federation was from before, unlike a lot of other people.
Do you know all the people who are looking at us now are just thinking, what the
What have they stumbled into?
Stargate is back, is coming back.
I always had a problem with Stargate. Can you guess what that might be?
Very militaristic.
No, no. I mean, we have Star Wars and stuff
It's
like
more of
that.
a
So,
it's more of a documentary.
well, well, this is it. I thought it was the misappropriation of Egyptian history and culture. That that was. Let's see what Imthishan thinks. But that was my take on it. Hello,
Hello.
how you doing? What are you doing? Are you horizontal?
I am horizontal. Do you want horizontal or landscape?
That's the same thing.
Same, same. What do you want?
What landscape?
You want? I am landscape.
That is landscape. Okay, because I can't see
Yeah,
the full thing at the moment, so that's landscape. Yeah, because otherwise it
yeah.
becomes difficult in the edit later. And why are you all kind of, cut out and stuff?
Because my background is a horrible mess at the moment. But yes,
All right,
I'm in
all
the
right.
middle of cleaning up the
Yeah,
house.
I didn't realize you could do a background on this in this
What are you going? What
software.
are you going to do? A bat cave now?
I'm building a real one.
So we were just chatting about Star Trek, Starfleet Academy, and Sai mentioned Stargate, and I said to Sai that I've always had an issue with Stargate, and I said that, and he said what, and I said I always feel it's been like a misappropriation of Egyptian history and culture.
I mean, it's just
Why are you
starting.
jumping? Can you stop jumping up and down the screen?
Try to get the camera all lined up. What has Stargate done to you?
Well, it's this whole thing about some aliens must have built the pyramids because the Egyptians weren't smart enough to do it.
It's pretty true.
Oh, he's disappeared now. Look, see,
Right, we should
what
tell
are you
everybody this is
doing?
a car
What
podcast.
is a car? Oh, right.
Better remind everybody.
Welcome to the Brown Car Guy episode BCG Therapy Podcast, first episode of 2026, and I'm joined by these two troublemakers, Sai from the Driver
Absolutely.
Unit and Imthishan. And we are currently talking not about cars at all. We're talking about science fiction. Because hell, why not?
Why not? It's either that or Trump.
Trump, no, dude. Seriously. He has a beautiful, beautiful fleet going to
Yeah.
the Middle East right now.
Yeah. Happy times, people. Happy times.
It's coming your way, Imtishan. He's coming your way.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's not think about that.
Let's
Let's
not.
really not. Really not.
So for those watching, listening in, Imtishan is in Dubai right now. So he's in the heart of the Middle East. There's all kinds of
But
stuff going on there, but let's not get into the politics, honestly.
oh, yeah. Well, you know what? Yeah. I got nothing. I'll hopefully see you next week. Hopefully that's the positive of it.
I,
I'll see you
I,
next week.
I was
The
going to
best
do
we can hope for.
I was going to do lots of Trump jokes, but I quite
Yeah.
fancy visiting America at some point.
Yeah, you see.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, you know what? I
Saved
mean,
in 3 years.
you have to have a burner phone just to go there because if you go there, they want to look at all your social media. They want to look at everything. They'll see you in a bat suit. You'll be banned for a start.
You'll be bound. You're a brown car guy.
Brown car guy. They're not letting me in. Look, I was already in trouble, right? British-born Pakistani Muslim with lots of time spent in the Middle East. Khalas, man. I am done. I'm done. Dear, oh dear.
Huh.
Imthishan
On
will
that
be fine.
positive note,
Imthishan will be fine. He's got connections.
Yeah.
He used to know the ambassador to UAE.
He passed away. Bless him. He passed
He
away
did,
about
he did,
5 years ago. I had connections. That was the end of that.
Tell Sai about the story about our extraordinary visit to the embassy that time.
So
He'll
we
love it.
had
Actually,
a.
he'll love it.
It's a bit unusual. I got an email from somebody saying, "Hi, I'm the American Consul General, etc." And I thought, okay, this is one of those Nigerian scam emails, whatever. So I just ignored him. And then afterwards, about like a couple of weeks later, I get a call from a person who says, "Yes, I am actually really the Consul General, and we've got an event coming up for the 4th of July." I'm like, "But it's February." Turns out the American consul has their event in February because nobody's here in July in the Middle East because of how hot it is. So they asked very nicely if they could borrow my DeLorean to use for the event. And like, you can even come along. So the event was at a ballroom in Dubai, the St. Regis, I believe. It's obviously a closed, locked event. So all we had to do was show up and just kind of hang around. I mean, you didn't have to hang around, but I was keeping an eye on the car because you can't trust any of these diplomats. So I mean, it was one of the stranger events we ever
drove
done.
this thing into this fancy ballroom.
So, I mean, I had my suit on and everything, and they hadn't finished building the hotel yet. That's the problem. So they had this massive trench in front of the only entrance on the side. So they put two planks across it. And it was like something out of Dukes of Bloody Hazzard. I had to drive across the planks, and as I drove across the planks, no lie, the planks broke.
And did you?
Very sketchy. I gunned it, and I think I just about made it without dropping into the hole. And I said, "How?" And I thought, as I went over there, I thought, "Well, how am I going back?" I'm like, "That's later Imthishan's problem. How are we going to go back where we're going?" But because it was so difficult to get in because of the plank problem, there was also a security sweep that had to be done for obviously, explosives or whatever. So they had to do a private sweep of the area. Now, that means we had literally, I think it was 60 seconds to get into the place. So we're driving through the place, but cars and carpet don't mix very well because carpet tends to get caught under the car. So essentially, I was trying to drive through this very expensive 5-star hotel while managing the carpet issue, because every time you stop, the carpet slides. There's a very famous video in the media which shows exactly what happens. A very famous journalist, Alain de Cadenet, basically hit the brakes just to screw people over, and they all fell down. And while I was doing this, people are also taking pictures and video. And I'm like, guys, we can do that later. I need to get into the ballroom. And then when we get to the ballroom, DeLoreans are really easy to get out of because the doors go up like this. However, it is also an extremely wide car, and the ballroom doors are only so big. I think you could sneak like an envelope past either side of the car as we just chucked it in, closed the door, and then a security sweep happened. And that was all before the event even started.
Yeah.
And the flux capacitor nuclear reactor. That
God Almighty! I haven't heard that one before.
Yeah, no, but
I'll tell you what.
But forget about that. The reason why, tell them why they wanted a DeLorean. They had a theme.
So when we got in there, I realized again that they had a theme which was basically the film and cinema. Turns out the consul at the time was a big film and cinema buff. So he wanted to essentially one-up the ambassador in Abu Dhabi. It had some other event. I can't remember exactly what he done, but he was very unimpressed, and he said, "I'll do something better. So I'll do a film event." So they had stormtroopers. They had film stills, and they had a DeLorean. And for the life of me, I don't know why the American embassy was doing it, but they did it. They did it. It was huge. They had stormtroopers walking around in this, let's be honest, diplomatic celebration in February of July.
But they've got stormtroopers now for real, haven't they? So
hang on. I would also like to go to America at some point, so I would say they were very nice. They were extremely nice. Actually, they were very nice.
The incongruity.
Not as well dressed.
No, but listen, Si, the incongruity. I don't know if you have any photos of Imthishan. The incongruity of it, because they had the kind of parade thing going on. So they had the actual Marines sort of coming in, followed by a battalion of actual stormtroopers.
Can you imagine the emails they must have done?
There were cutouts of Star Trek figurines as well. It was the most bizarre thing. It was the most Dubai thing you could imagine.
I don't know. I don't really understand what happened. And we met some fascinating people, which I guess we shouldn't really talk about. We met a lot of really interesting
some people that we really didn't want to ask what they actually do because we thought that would get us into a lot of trouble.
very strange. Basically, when somebody says repeatedly in answer to the question, "What do you do?" I work at the embassy. He doesn't want you to know what he does at the embassy.
Covert services, yeah.
He works at the embassy, mate, and I'm still. It
That's
was
it.
like it's like 10 years later. I'm still not asking.
No. No. At some point, you get the message like, yeah, don't push any further. Just that's it. That's
Also,
good enough.
when
You
somebody
smile,
is at a
wave.
black tie event, and by the way, Shazad and me were in black tie.
Yeah, yeah. We'll go.
When somebody's in black tie in overalls walking around, basically a jumpsuit, you're like, okay, who are you exactly? The world's best connected janitor. But it was a great evening. And by the way, when the time came to leave, they actually had sorted out the plank problem.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I got to drive through a 5-star hotel as a guest of the American government. And I have
Yeah.
still a very nice letter, which I have kept at home, thanking me. The American USA thanked me for my contributions.
Which is why I said he's got a free pass. He can go. He's got no issues there.
Different administration, though. Different administration.
I have been invited to Guantanamo, but that's a whole different story.
Haven't we all?
Yeah.
That's a different story. I don't rather get into it at the moment.
Yeah.
I told him I was busy.
It's an open invitation.
I was busy doing a podcast. Sorry.
Yeah, that's my excuse as well.
Dear, oh dear. So anyway, so how has the new year been? 2026, without getting into the politics. How has it been? That's a question, actually.
Okay, I know. I'm trying to think of what I've been up to.
Tumbleweed. How has the new year been? Tumbleweed, nothing. That's it. Ted. That in
Well-
itself says a lot.
I've got vague car news in Dubai. Paid parking has mushroomed everywhere.
So
So
what do you mean
basically
by
what's-
paid parking? What's going on exactly?
So, before you had paid parking that you could just do an SMS app. I'm sorry for everybody who's not in Dubai, but this is kind of interest for people who lived in Dubai, right? Essentially, before you just would pay parking on an app. No, you would SMS, and now you have a company that can do it via an app. Here's the thing, they've privatized parking across Dubai. So essentially, there's a private company that's out to make profit. So what they've done is they've put paid parking everywhere, including residential areas like Discovery Gardens and so on. So basically, residential neighborhoods, I guess it's not news to the UK, but the places that were free, where people were parking cars, are now have parking, you love this, Shazad, till midnight every day. And you know what the rate is? Normally the parking was like 2 dirhams, 3 dirhams. Now it's like 6 dirhams.
Whoa.
How much is that in UK money?
About £1.
It's a pound an hour.
£1
Yeah.
an hour.
£1 an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not bad. I mean, London's like £5 an hour.
Yeah.
So-
No, but this is
Yeah, but these are people who live
this is
here.
like this is equivalent to parking outside your house. That's what we're talking about now.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, they
Yeah.
can afford it over there. They're all rich.
Yeah, right.
Yes, of course we are. Of course we are. Sorry, I'll get my champagne glass.
Champagne, oil on tap, literally. We have no sympathy for you.
Yeah. So basically, the trouble is they started with the lowest, I would say, the lowest income neighborhoods. International City is not rich people. That is contrary to. So basically, they got constant parking in International City, and I just don't know where regular people are supposed. So that's been the talk of the town. Is like, where the hell do we park our cars? Because
So,
there
I
is
mean,
no
how
public
is it-
transport system
yeah,
that
so
really
how is
works.
it working then? Because like
It
okay,
isn't.
so most buildings are supposed to have a parking lot or allocated parking.
But
then
everybody's got
obviously-
2 cars, right?
Yeah, everybody's got more than one car. That's the problem. So where are people parking the other car then?
Well, one car is basically out. So, for example, Discovery Garden is a good example. Sorry, this is very boring, everybody, but it is random news. You have to pay now for every parking spot outside of your allotment 945 dirhams a month. So almost it's like paying an extra rent for parking.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
So there is a public transport system, but it's already full. Everybody's basically been slapped with extra tax for their cars. So yeah, it's been not well received.
This is the thing, because when people talk about, because a lot of people from the UK are currently
people in the UK have the wrong idea about
no,
Dubai.
people from the UK are moving to Dubai, and they're like, well, because it's cheaper, there's no tax, and I said, well, there isn't tax, but there is kind of tax, because they hit you with all of these little things, and this is how they sort of basically recoup their money. But having said that, as Sai would probably agree with me, it's still more attractive than here right now.
Really?
I mean,
well, I don't know. I wouldn't. I personally wouldn't want to move to the Middle East.
You wouldn't move to the Middle East,
No, I wouldn't move to the
but
Middle East.
why?
Because I love Britain. I think Britain's a great place. I think London's best best city in the world. Voted
Have you
best city
lived
in the world.
outside of the UK ever?
No. I've visited Birmingham a couple of times, but
Birmingham.
that's what put me off. No offense.
You mean you
Birmingham's a
went
lovely place.
north? You went up north? Oh
I went
my
up north.
God.
No, I like London. Look, I spent most of my life here, and I think people who, you got a choice. I think people moving to Dubai, to a country that is run by a dictatorship, and there's no free elections, and you could touch somebody and end up going to prison. I'm sure.
Well, how are the free elections working out for us here? Honestly.
Well, at least they're free. We get idiots. We can vote idiot. We can choose which idiot we want to vote in.
We
but
can decide which idiot we
yeah.
want. Yeah,
And
really,
and I think London, UK, we get a bad rap, but I think it's very cosmopolitan. In London, everybody gets along. It's no, I wouldn't want to go there. I think I'd get very bored. Also, it's pretty too hot. I don't like the heat every day. I
love the heat. I don't like the cold.
I like the seasons.
Oh.
I'm a Londoner. It's in my blood. I can't.
He's a Londoner. He is a Londoner. That's what he is.
I mean,
you should put a flag up. Where's the flag? Why
Technically,
haven't you raised the colours?
Yeah. I wait till Nigel Farage comes round when I'll show it for him.
That's right. That's it. Wait till he comes. Well, wait till he gets into
I'll
number
stick
10.
the flag up someplace for sure.
Wait till he gets into number 10. Then we get our own version.
Then I'll probably end up going to Dubai.
We'll get our own stormtroopers then as well. When the
yeah.
Not good.
So you're asking, what's new with 2026 for me? So I've actually been working every day, Christmas Day, New Year's Day, literally working. So for me, this is probably the busiest I've ever been in my entire life. So I'm actually trying to finish off 10 photo books. I've got 2 magazines, which I haven't even started. That's another question. Why would somebody want to get into print magazine now? But it's an itch. It's an itch I want to scratch, and I'm launching that this summer. Got some really nice stories to put into it. We have our Concours event, which is a judge for, which is now changed from last year. It used to be called the Drivers Union Concours, but it's now called the Union Concours.
Cool. Union Concours sounds cool. But before you go on with that, I want to put this to Imthishan, because as you just said, why would somebody launch a magazine right now? And both Imthishan and myself are from magazine backgrounds. What do you think, Imthishan, of Sai publishing not one, but he's launching 2 magazines, in fact?
I mean, good for him. I think there'll be a niche market for them. It won't be a mass market thing because you can't print the numbers to be in every newsstand. Oh wait, newsstands probably don't exist. But I think there is always an audience for print stuff. Like the Road Rat does pretty well, I think, in the UK. So there are a lot of good magazines, and I think somebody needs to cater to these people who say, "Oh, I so miss car magazines." Well, okay, put your hand in your pocket and buy one, And there are people who do like things like the niche stuff, Land Rover Monthly, Octane. I hesitate to call it niche, but it is still, classic car magazine. It is okay. So there is a market, but at the end of the day, you can do all the studies, you can do all of the planning and plotting, but you just got to do it and find the audience. This is not a MBA deck-led proposal. This is about passion and hoping that people connect with your writing. So yeah, good for you. Go ahead and do it.
Well, I'm doing it in a different way. I think if I wasn't running a car club, I wouldn't be doing the magazines as such. One of the magazines is the Drivers Union magazine, which is all about the club, the members. Because what I figured was I'm at these events, I'm standing around, after I've parked up 50, 60 cars, I'm standing around, I'm taking photos, and I thought, well, why don't I interview people, talk about their cars, the organizers of events that we go to, that we get invited to. What's the backstory on that? Write articles. Also stuff that we've done the last couple of months and the stuff we're going to do in the future. So it's great for the members. So I've got an inbuilt audience already for that. And it'll be available for free worldwide. The other magazine, which I've decided to call Auto Scura, which means auto car in Italian, and scura means dark. So
can I show it? Because you sent me a picture, didn't you? Or is that secret?
No, you can show it. It's there. The website's up. Autoscura.com.
It looks fantastic.
Well, that's an AI generated thing cover, which I just asked it to do. But what I'm probably going to end up doing is turn it into a landscape magazine, because for cars, it's just so much nicer and it's more sexier. Effectively, it's a porn magazine. It's an automotive porn magazine. And that.
But all good car magazines are. I mean, this is the thing, isn't it? I mean, even, you know, I mean, actually, this was before Imtishan's time, but when I moved to Dubai and I took over the reins of car magazine, Car Middle East, which actually was from issue 2 anyway, one of the key things for me was like photography. And the trouble was, at the time there were no, now there are great photographers in the UAE, but at the time there were hardly, there was literally like, there was one person that we regularly used. That was it. Literally one person, you know, and we were stuck because I was like, well, car photography is a big thing for car. And epic, not just like, you know, snap it up against the wall in 12 o'clock midday sunlight. No, epic photography. So initially I was flying photographers over from the UK just to come and shoot these features to give it that sort of car feel, but in a Middle East location. But that's the whole thing about it. It's like, as much as the words were important, the images were important, because it is, like you say, porn for car people.
We're just trying to find a photo of what the. So this is the actual. Let me see it there.
Yeah, can just make it out. Yeah.
So that's basically the cover of the first issue. And I'm going to do, because you know, car porn, Road Rat is sort of car porn because it concentrates on photography. Things like Octane is not car porn because the articles and you've got the photos. You know, car porn is like when you've got a whole page photographs and a little bit of text on the opposite side, a lot more white space, very luxury. It's something that you put on your coffee table. Octane you wouldn't put on your coffee table. Something like this, what I'm trying to do, or Road Rat maybe to some extent, you would put on a coffee table. So that's really what I'm getting towards, because it's more creative, it's more sexier, and it's about stories. It's more about the owners and interesting stories and the people. You know, it's something different. It's totally different from Drivers Union, which is why I've had to segregate the two things. But that's the plan, and it'll be available digitally as well worldwide. So the money, if there is any money to be made, is from advertising rather than sales.
Yeah, it has to be. Imtishan, are there any magazines left at all? Because as it looks to me like there's like nothing left. Like, you know, when you and I were there with Car, it was quite a vibrant scene. There was a ton of Arabic magazines. There was obviously the franchise magazines. Feels to me like there's nothing left there now.
Not really. I think the audience pretty much completely migrated to social media and Instagram.
And TikTok.
I think people who want English content will read something like the Intercooler or the Road Rat, or etc. Or there are plenty of online publications. I think paying for car content seems like quite an unusual concept in 2026. So, but people will follow their creators. They'll get on their Patreons. You know, they'll watch their podcasts or listen to their podcasts. So there's a lot of other ways to interact with your audiences, essentially, because now it's very much creator and personality driven. In the old days, it was publication driven. So if you had, you know, a motor trend or a car, the individual writers were not the attraction. The brand was the attraction, because Car, as you know, stood for the epic photography, the glossy quality, but also cheeky, irreverent style, etc. Things like Auto Express, or, you know, what's the other one? Autocar, much more straight down the middle. They're much more like, what's going on? Should you buy it? Should you care, etc. But I was also drawn to the lifestyle side of things, which is why I think the Car did so well the thing that it did, which was make stars of its writers, like Russell Bulgin, like LJK Sattrai, like us, because they understood the story comes first and the personalities of the writer comes first, and they didn't try to impose this brand on there except in a very interesting way. So I think it could be very interesting. I think there are not, to answer the question is no, there's nobody left here doing anything like that.
See, I subscribe to this website called Magster, Magzter.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard about that. Yeah. It's a platform. So a lot of companies, a lot of magazine companies put their magazines on there. So I pay like £60 a year, £65, something like that. And I've got latest issue of Autocar, latest issue of Octane. You know, I can upload my magazine up there. I've got my magazines up there. A couple of my books and magazines are up there as well. I don't have to go outside and buy them. You know, it's a lot easier. So why would I want to go out and buy it?
But are you reading them though? Are you reading them?
Yeah,
you've got access to the Car and stuff.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't, because I'm so busy doing car stuff anyway. Do I want to read it in my spare time?
So, can I ask a question? Why aren't you reading your car magazines that you're subscribed to, which you're paying for every month?
Because I'm so busy doing other stuff. And for me, I mean, I look at the pictures. I'm like a kid. I look at the pictures. I look at the style. If there's something interesting that happens, and I'll read a little bit about it. But to be honest, you know, reading about a review on a car. I mean, I'll give you an example. Autocar. So I read Autocar. I go through it. All they talk about is electric cars. I'm not interested. Electric. I just swipe. Just nothing. I mean, one article every couple of weeks I might read. Car magazine. I used to buy it once in a while, and that was like very thin, and the paper quality is like toilet paper, right? So they just reduce it. It's not much at all. Evo, you know, it's nice to look at the pictures and stuff, but I don't really look at many magazines, to be honest. It's like, you know, when you get too much of it, I've got access to everything now. You know,
Well, this is it. Well, let me break it down, because I think that the only thing that's left worth reading in periodicals is usually the columns and the opinion pieces. And if they're interesting, they're going to get shared anyway. So, I mean, it's not like you even have to buy the magazine. If Mark Rutherford, like I shared a recent column of his on my Facebook page because I thought, oh, that's quite interesting, and that was worth reading. But in terms of the news stuff, that's not worth reading in news magazines anymore, because we get that well before the magazines do. So who cares? There's no point reading that. In terms of the reviews, nobody's reading reviews. They're watching them on YouTube. So nobody's reading the reviews. So the only thing that's left worth reading is the opinion. Is, you know, an opinion from somebody that has, you know, experience, gravitas, you know, that sort of stuff.
And it's also something that AI can't replicate.
I mean, AI cannot replicate that. AI can write the news. It can easily do the news. It could probably do the reviews as well, but it can't do the opinion stuff. That's the thing.
And the other thing is, a lot of the people, I mean, certainly the people I know, and I don't want to say it in a bad way, but they're getting old. They're going to be dead soon. And those stories are going to be gone forever. So what I'm thinking of myself is I'm a historian. I want to gather all these stories. What was it like when you bought this car? What was it like looking after that particular Lamborghini or Delara or whatever? That's what I'm trying to do. And I think that is where there is a demand for. But, you know, doing a review, I mean, in the old days, years ago, I would say, oh, yeah, I love to review the latest Ferrari, latest Lamborghini. Well, they're not going to give it to me. And if they did give it to me, they're giving it to everybody else. And if they're giving it to everybody else, they're going to be a lot faster in doing a review. So why should I do? What's the point? If someone asks me, I can do a review on a Lamborghini Revolto, I said, just read Evo magazine. They've got a better one than I could ever do. But if you want to hear stories about what it's like to own one, because Evo won't, these magazines won't say anything, won't write anything negative, because the manufacturer go, well, you're not going to get the next car. Whereas I could turn around and say, you know, interview someone who would turn around and say, my Revolto is breaking down every week. But is it true? Is really? Okay, I'll write that down. Lamborghini one.
See, that's like the next level of it. See, this is where, as a journalist, because people ask me, well, what's more reliable? And I say, well, I can't tell you what's more reliable, because I don't live with these cars. You know, I review them. So either I'll review them, I'll drive them over a period of, you know, an hour or a day or whatever, or at the most I might have them for a week, you know. That's all I can tell you. I can't tell you beyond that. For that, you need surveys. For that, you need reader reviews. For that, you need the other stuff. And I think that that's why it's becoming more and more difficult to create this content, because the premise, the requirement of what that content used to be has fundamentally shifted so much that it's hard now to keep up with what the consumer actually wants. Before, they were happy with just a review because there was no other way of getting it. But now the reviews are instant and everywhere. You know, everybody's doing it, from a seasoned, experienced automotive journalist to an influencer. Right? They're all doing it.
And this is the thing. There's not many journalists around. There's not many of us around. I consider myself a journalist. Not someone called me an influencer once, and I was like, I bristled. I was like, no, I'm not an influencer. You know, I'm not a blogger. I'm a journalist. I'm a member of the NUJ, National Union of Journalists. You know, and you're a journalist, and you know, we do things. I mean, all right, we can give our opinion, but we're there to report something and be impartial in a report. I'm not going to turn around and talk to someone who says that their McLaren breaks all the time and say, yeah, McLaren's a shit. It's not for me to say. Unless I've got a McLaren.
Well, this is the thing, you know, we have to be a quite independent, objective, you know, and that's, you know, like, you know, obviously we all have our preferred brands, we all have our loyalties and stuff like that. But when I review a car, I have to review it from the point of view of a person that might be interested in that car. And it's completely irrelevant whether I'm interested in it or not. I mean, I have to literally take myself out of that. You know, obviously some aspect of, you know, if a car really excites me, then I will let that through. I will say, you know, this is really turning me
Yeah,
on,
that's
so
what
to
that's
speak.
what it's.
But if it's not, then I still have to review it. I can't just say, oh, I don't like this car, therefore it's shit. No, it might actually be brilliant. It's just not right for me.
Exactly. Shit, it might feel. I mean, it's like a Lamborghini Countach. Horrible car to drive. Horrible car. I haven't ride it. I say horrible car to drive. Horrible car. Everything about it. It doesn't drive up. But I'd buy one.
Yeah.
You know.
But it's an institution. It's an icon.
On a serious note, Imtishan's disappeared. Do you think maybe Trump has launched the attack?
Seriously, I think, you know, we should see the BBC News and find out what's going on over
Or even more seriously, he's found a parking spot. A free parking spot.
Sai just said that the reason that you disappeared, Imtishan, was that you've just found a parking spot. So
I have mysterious ways about me, which is how I park my cars. Let's put it that way.
one of the things that you just said, Sai, was you look at these magazines and it's EV, it's EV, it's EV.
Yeah.
Now to kind of defend those publications, because I find myself in the same situation, because people come to my YouTube and this and they go, stop reviewing EVs. I'm like, I cannot stop reviewing EVs because EVs are what's coming out. You know, I think I'm attending the launch of 2 new EVs next week, and then 3 more I'm driving next month. So it's inevitable, right? There's nothing else out there. If there is a petrol car or something, then we review it. But we are duty bound to review whatever new product is coming out. We have to do that.
Are those EVs Chinese?
I think at least 2 of them are. Yeah. But there's a huge, as you know, there's a huge influx of Chinese EVs. Now, one of the things that you said, Imtishan, in the notes that we were talking about earlier, was the crash of EV sales. Well, it's interesting because in Europe, they've just announced in December, it's the first time that EVs have outsold petrol cars in Europe. So they've taken 17% of the market, which isn't massive, but it's the first time. It's just that significant pivot point. Hybrids are still actually selling more. But what's happening over there then?
Much of a muchness. It's pretty much hybrid market at the moment. It's Chinese cars, they're pushing in pretty hard. That's really happening. Electric cars going okay. They're kind of seasonal. They do fine in the winter. In the summer, not so much because the weather really takes a hit on electricity and ACs and so on. Although the new Teslas apparently are not bad. But by and large, they're doing okay. I would not say they're kind of, the novelty has worn off for a lot of people. I feel like everybody sort of has had one now, and they've had issues, etc. Or they just don't want to wait around for charging. So for a lot of people, taking kind of a wait and see approach. But the Chinese are rolling out a whole lot of plug-in hybrids, and those are very popular. Now, honestly, not plug-in hybrids, just straight up hybrids. Like everything is hybrid. So the interesting thing in UAE is what sells now weirdly is horsepower. So for example, you have the Jetour G700, which is like a claimed 900 horsepower, which is a little bit silly because it's running from a 1.5 turbo. There's no way you're getting 900 horsepower from that. But for about a quarter of a fraction of a second, you might get 900 horsepower. And well, that's
for that parking spot.
People. So stuff like
the
that.
Parking spot. When you find the parking spot, you go
or
boost. Get to the spot.
Yeah, exactly.
But tell me this, right?
So
have you been off road in one of these EVs then?
Yep.
Don't they just
I can
suck
tell
up
you
the
that
charge?
they are.
I was going to say, don't they just suck up charge in like that? Because I know one of the things the off-roading style in the Middle East, just to let everybody know, is very different from off-roading here in the UK. Here in the UK, it's gently, feel your way, blah, blah. No, an off-road is like full power. So how do EVs even survive?
Yeah, they do fine. The Teslas and stuff do fine off-road as long as you don't really care about how the condition when they come out of it. But I'll be honest with you, the newer Chinese stuff, they all have one problem in common. They're all really heavy. Like the Jetour is like, it's like 3 tons, 4 tons. I think it's actually 6,000 pounds, something like that. It is. Yeah, it's not light. Let me just double check this.
It's
like 3 tons.
Jetour is like it's a Chinese-made brand. It's kind of what is it, like a Jeep Strike Range Rover?
How do you spell it?
It's J-E Tour.
Jetour.
Yeah.
It's like Je t'aime. It's like the French. French. Yeah. It's extremely popular in the Middle East.
It looks like a Land Rover.
Yeah.
Well, they all do. They
It
all
looks
do.
big.
But
E700.
it's 3 tons.
So
Yeah.
have you driven that off road?
It's not a bad car. It's actually quite a decent. Yeah, I've taken it off road. It's really heavy. So if it gets stuck, because it can get stuck, it's got all the mod cons and toys and stuff. But because of this titanic weight of the thing, you have to be really careful about managing it. There's stuff that I can say and there's stuff that I can't say for reasons I get into off air. But let's just say that if it gets stuck, your problem is what pulls it out.
I was going to say, yeah. What does pull it out?
Because a Land Cruiser comes along, it's 2.5. You need something of a similar weight. It's not power. You need something of a similar weight or mass to pull it out. A smaller car is just going to bounce off it, and if you keep trying, it's going to bend the chassis on it, right? So you need something to match it. Previously, everything was Land Cruisers, so they were all the heaviest things. But now it's getting really heavy. The Hummers, for example, really struggle off road because they're darn heavy things. Those are
They're
almost
close to 4 to 5 tons,
what are
aren't
the
they?
Hummer?
The Hummer, the EV. I think
The
that's
Hummer
4 to 5
electric
tons.
weight is it's 4 tons.
4 tons, yeah. That's
Back a sec.
wow.
So if you jump a Hummer EV for any reason, or you
Yeah.
maybe go over a dune with slightly more exuberance than you were planning, when you land, you break your suspension because 4 tons hitting the ground is like a tank hitting the ground.
Wow.
What's the perception of Tesla
So
in the Middle East?
fine.
Really? You
Zero
don't
issues
have-
with
There's
it.
no,
I mean,
there's
there
no,
are people who
there's
kind
no
of think about like
ramifications with
the
the
Elon
Musk?
of it all, but
Because they're tanking in America. I mean,
Elon is
here.
not unpopular here.
really, even with his right-wing views.
They're a good deal out here. They're a cheap car.
Oh no, they're cheap. They're cheap
Nobody's
here as
thinking about the
well.
politics of it.
They're cheap here as well because they've
Yeah.
literally tanked. They've just taken one of the cars off sale. There's a friend of mine last year who had a Tesla, and he broke out of his contract early because he didn't want to be seen in it anymore. And when I had met him, he was loving the car. He was raving about it. He was like, "Oh, it's so good," and this and that. But when Elon did what he did, particularly in terms of his hand gestures, this friend of mine literally said, "I got rid of the Tesla because I don't want to be seen in it anymore." So that's like how serious. And then he bought a BMW i8, in fact. So
Well, I say I don't let Teslas out. I just, and if I meet someone who's got a Tesla, I would just really look at them with pity and sympathy. Or I might give them a salute. I don't know.
different
Depends
types of
on,
salute, yeah. So the
it's just,
perception in Dubai is not the same for Tesla. Then they don't mind the Elon Musk association.
Not really bothering the conversations here rarely get political. I don't like Teslas. I'd never buy one of the flipping things. But most people out here are just like, it works, it's fine. And nobody really thinks about it. This isn't the kind of place where people really take a stand with their wallet. You know what I mean? A car is a car. Is it expensive? Is it fast? That's what matters. Nobody's really thinking too hard about like, oh, what does this say about me? Only if it's crap. And nothing is really crap, as Shazad said once said a long time ago.
Yeah. Apart from the what was it, the Sleepwell E11 or something, I don't know, some car that's been universally panned by everybody. What
Sleepwell? What's a
I don't know what is
Sleepwell?
it BE? I don't know what it even is. It's something or other. But what I do remember, Imthishan, the first time when you and I reviewed a Tesla, we took it out to one of our favorite roads. We did a couple of high acceleration runs, and we ran out of juice pretty much nearly. And then it was so tentative that
Yeah.
Imthishan was taking it back to his place, and I followed him because I was like certain that he was going to run out of power on the way home. And then I think you got it home and you plugged it in overnight, and it barely went up by 5% or something. I think you took it back the next morning, didn't
Still
you?
goes. Honestly, like, whatever regular household level 1, I guess level 2 charging, that's nothing. You might as well not even bother. But there are plenty. DEVA's, the electricity board, essentially made a huge push to introduce more charging points, especially ADNOC, the Abu Dhabi side of things. So there is a lot of charging points because not so much. Here's the problem, Sai, for your question of Tesla. People care about, is it a good product? So for the Jetour, which is completely unknown to everybody outside of the Middle East, is it a good product? Is irrelevant. It's done really well. People like it. It looks like a baby Defender. People love it. It fits their pocket, fits the right price. There's no reason why they shouldn't have a Jetour. No matter how much tell them maybe they should think about something else, they want Jetours because it looks like a baby Defender. And it's about a quarter of the price of a Defender. Tesla is no longer a great value. Turns out the Chinese cars that are coming in, like the Zeekrs and so on, the Xiaomis, way more interesting. You know, the problem with Tesla is not Elon. The problem with Tesla here is boring. It's old hat. Okay,
It's
it's
old now.
fast.
Yeah,
So
all their
what?
product have
But the
got
new
old.
Chinese
Yeah.
cars have.
I saw. I
It's just an
saw.
old product.
I,
Everybody out here is
I,
like, yeah, but look at the Chinese cars.
I saw a Chinese MPV type vehicle where the grill is actually just a giant TV screen, and you can you can put a graphic on
Wasn't
it. You
that the
can put a
Faraday
display.
future? That's the
Or,
Faraday future.
yeah, I think so. And like, or you could just sit there. You could sit in front of your thing and watch a football match on it. It's bonkers, you know.
Well, I was at the Hampton Court
Well,
was
that's
with a friend of mine, and he's never been into EVs. He's got a McLaren, he's got a Porsche, he's had Ferrari in the past and everything. And we're walking around, and we came to one of these. I can't remember the name. One of the big Chinese companies, with a big 4x4. And when he's sitting inside, he goes, "I really like this. I want to get this."
Yeah.
And he's enamored by this
Because
big.
it's the tech, it's the toys, it's the iPhone
It,
generation.
it was
It's
very
like I've
comfortable
got
as
tech
well.
in here.
toys.
Yeah, yeah.
For a lot of
By the
people,
way,
that's the
the
draw
car I
card.
was
It's like
slagging
it's
off.
different.
By the way, the car I was slagging off is the Skywell BE11. It's been universally panned by everybody, but I think I prefer my name Sleepwell. I think that's better than Skywell. But Skywell BE11 is what the car was.
Skywell.
Yeah.
The
I mean,
Chinese need
I
to
saw a
find.
flying car last year. I saw
Yeah, you got flying taxis in
I
Dubai
saw a
now, haven't
flying
you? Aren't
Chinese
they? Aren't
car
they
that
about
was
to be launched there?
no, you haven't. But that's the plan. But they've got like a flying car. It was the Aero car or something like that, the Aero car, flying car. But basically, it's a car that was essentially, um, how do I describe it? It's a van, a hybrid van with electric power plant. Obviously, it's a plug-in hybrid rev, basically. And out of the back unfurls a small helicopter
Yeah,
or quadcopter, which is basically, a little drone that you can fly around in. So you drive somewhere, park up, and this thing pops out the back, and you take off and fly around, go wherever you want. And
Little
because
Nelly.
it's powered by the essentially Little Nelly, essentially, it's a good point actually. Essentially Little Nelly. Uh, and because it's powered by the van, when you park, you charge the helicopter. So you don't have to worry about fuel.
yeah. So have you been out?
It's quite clever actually, and
have
it
you
did fly. It flew in front of us.
have you got
It's
the Waymo taxis there and stuff?
it's the Aero HT.
Yeah, no, I've seen
Not
pictures
yet,
of
but
it.
they're starting up soon.
Yeah, okay, so we're getting them here as well
Those are
now.
kind of interesting. I think they're kind of cool.
We're getting them here in July. I think July, August. We're going to get them here in London. There's going to be Waymo taxis, driverless taxis here. But I mean, would either of you get
That'll
into
be
a
the end of your
driverless
black
taxi?
cabs, mate. That absolutely will. I would.
No more conversation like,
I
the
absolutely
other day
would.
I had that Piers Morgan in the back of my cab. No more of those. Oh no.
Wasn't there in America something happened?
Yeah, I mean,
Something short circuit or something happened, and all the Waymos just stopped wherever they were parked, wherever they were, middle of the road, couldn't move. That's what's going to happen. I wouldn't get into one. I just feel very, I'd be too busy trying to grab the steering wheel.
Well, I put a story up. You're talking about connected cars and connectivity and stuff like that, and I did put a little video up a few weeks ago, which is actually getting a lot of traction on Instagram, about the fact that Porsches all stopped working in Russia, and people speculated whether that was nefarious purposes or whatever. But in fact, it wasn't. I think it was just an error because Porsche has basically sanctioned America. All these cars. They basically communicated back to base, if you like, to make sure that the immobilizers were okay, and the system was down, and it just locked them all, so they couldn't go anywhere, and they couldn't get them fixed because Porsche had blockaded Russia, if you like. But it was a case of just resetting them. But it did give rise to this discussion, which is actually real, that you can remote stop or take control of these cars, and that is actually a real thing. And at the moment in America, it has happened with some police forces where they've been able to stop drivers and stuff like that by taking control of the car.
If we get into war with China,
Yeah, exactly. Well, we're all buying Chinese cars, and if we have a war with China, they can just go, right, stop all their cars.
or use them as weapons.
Or, well, what was that? Who was it? Was it Alan that we had on last time? Was it Alan or somebody else that was telling us about MGs that have been bought by the Ministry of Defense here?
I don't know. I can't remember.
Maybe this is stuff I'm not supposed to say. I don't know. But I've said it now.
So they don't get hacked. I remember, yeah,
Yeah,
we're
there
talking
was
about it.
something, wasn't there? And it was like
Yeah.
they bought a load of MGs, and then they told them, right, you can't actually bring them to base. You have to park them like 3 miles away. You can't actually bring them. So they supplied the staff and
Oh,
what have you
right,
with these
yeah.
cars, and they said, but you can't bring them here because they were worried about the Chinese spying on stuff.
Actually,
But
we'll just buy Ford Capris and Escorts, the old Escorts.
so this is the thing: should we all just go back to old classic cars, which are simple analog things?
Yes, because they were better to drive. They're more fun. They had more character when they break down. They were it's just more fun. But that's because we're old. Now let me tell you a very sad story. This is very depressing. Seriously, it's really depressing. I have a 16-year-old son who you met, Adam. He's 17 in March. I've been pestering him for months to get his provisional license. Doesn't get around to it. Not interested. He's going to be 17, in mid-March, where he can take driving lessons. And I said, "We'll get you a car. You can drive my car. Yeah, you can go out and do something." What's happened to kids? He's not the only one I've met.
I can raise you that easily. Imthishan knows Junaid very well. Junaid's celebrating his 26th birthday today.
Oh,
Today
right.
is his 26th birthday.
Happy birthday.
He still doesn't have a driving license.
No!
Hang on, Junaid is 26?
Yes.
Junaid is 26?
Do you feel old, Imthishan?
Junaid is nearly 30?
Yes.
Well,
Imthishan has literally seen him grow.
Junaid is nearly
Imthishan has
30.
literally seen him grow up.
he can't drive. It's like, for me, if you can't drive, it's like a handicap.
Well, yeah, but the desire isn't there. You know
Yeah,
what I
but
mean?
okay.
It's like,
I think
like,
that's an
Big Daddy
interesting.
Brown car
I
guy.
think that's an interesting topic, though.
Go on then.
I think that's very interesting because you're growing up right in the middle of car guy central, and you're not interested in cars.
No.
But
No.
think of it the
of
other
my
way
kids.
around.
Lena is
Why would you-
20, and she's not driving. Junaid is not driving. But don't forget, we live in London.
Yeah, but it's like my son. I said, let's go in a Ferrari. Let's go for a cruise. We put the roof down. We go for a cruise in the Ferrari or the Aston.
Actually, I have a question for Imthishan. Do you think, because of the fact, because I've done things like pick up my kids from Sheffield School in Dubai in Ferraris and Bentleys and Rolls Royces, Dawns with the roof down. Do you think I've overdone it with my kids? Do you think that I numbed them so much to these supercars and hypercars and luxury cars that now they really don't care? Do you think? Because like when I was a kid, if I got, I remember being like because my dad didn't used to drive, and I remember being a kid and uncle turned up in a brand new Volvo 240, and we got a ride in it, and I was all made up. I was like, oh my god, But nowadays they're like, whatever, we don't care. What do you think, Imthishan? Because my kids have been in everything.
I think it's not about you, Shazad. I think in general, the cars are not cool because nothing is making them cool. I said this before. There are no movies. There's nothing happening. There's no events that they're interested in going to, but dad is dragging to this and that. Why would they? I'm looking from the kid's point of view, and I'm like, I can go everywhere. I get driven everywhere. I can use my phone while I'm traveling. I don't have to drive. I don't have to get driving or operating a car because I see dad is in the car. He's always yelling at somebody. Oh, that fella, look at him. He cut me off. And they're like, well, I don't want to do that. Why should I want to get stressed doing that? And then if I want to see my friends, it seems to be faster to take public transport. There are plenty of people in Dubai who don't drive now. Plenty of kids in Dubai, and they're like they've grown up in taxis or the back of Ubers or Lexuses as we have them out here. Why would they want to drive? And the joy of driving is something you don't understand when it's constant mind-numbing traffic. And by the way, to return to our bet, Noah, there's nowhere to park the bloody you come home as well.
Yeah.
So why would you want to drive a car? What is the upside? What is the upside?
Actually, that's what one of my sons says. He goes, "Oh, you know what? Oh, it's so much traffic. It's all traffic all the time. We're stuck in traffic, and it's just not interesting." The older one's more interested in cars, but he lives in Glasgow. He lives in Glasgow, where there's like they don't even have roads, do they? Really, the toilets are the outside, so they need a car to get to the toilets.
Do they still have outside toilets?
I'm going to say, like, I think for a lot of, if cars could be made cool again, and needless to say, we are not cool, right? So whatever we do is not cool, and definitely never will be ever again. But if something could make cars cool, but nothing seems to. The movies that come out that are car movies are pretty naff. Something like the new Fast 11 or whatever, 11th movie can I put out in this franchise is just a joke, right? And everybody in those movies are too old. They're not young people. You know what the coolest car movie that came out last year is? It's not any of the stuff that people made. It's One Battle After Another, the Paul Thomas Anderson film,
I
because
haven't
it's
seen
got
that.
two great car chases in it, and one of them actually featured a millennial, and it was one of the smartest car movies I've ever seen about the casting of the cars and the people driving the cars. And it had an actual car chase with a charged Mustang, and of all things, believe it or not, a Nissan Sunny. All three of them were in a high-speed car chase, and one of the most exciting things I've ever seen.
Isn't that DiCaprio? Isn't that?
You need to get out more.
Exactly.
But is that
Yeah.
that's Leonardo DiCaprio?
But it was
movies,
great.
right?
Yeah.
I loved it because it had something to say about the character.
But he's the guy that
characters.
famously drove a Prius, isn't he? He's not really into cars, is he?
He's into under
I
24
don't
year
think
old.
he drives much. I think he takes his boat and plane there.
But you're right, though. That's the trouble. Is that I saw that
Yeah.
what's his name? The guy that what's his name? Chris Hemsworth, who plays Thor, right? He's got a new movie coming out, and apparently there's a lot of driving in that. There's a Dodge Challenger and stuff like that. But yeah, the trouble with the Fast and Furious movies is like, especially the last one, when they dropped a car out of a plane and it just landed on other cars and kept on driving. I mean, at that point, it's like what?
TFJ Cruises to be exact, but it was just ridiculous.
Yeah, what
Just
realm of
ridiculous.
fantasy have
Or the
we
one that
entered
went.
into now?
Or the car
Honestly,
that,
it's just ridiculous.
What was that?
the car that went into space.
Oh yeah.
It turned
The
into a rocket.
Pontiac Pharaoh, the ultimate kit car. You
Yeah,
can turn
yeah.
it into everything, including a space shuttle now.
There was what was that one? What was that spin of Hobbs and Shaw? They had a
Yeah.
McLaren 720.
Yeah,
He was race. What's his
around
name?
London.
The
Statham.
bald guy. I forgot the
Yeah.
name. Bald actor.
Jason Statham.
Jason Statham, yeah.
Jason Statham, yeah.
You know, but yeah, there's nothing cool. We had Magnum, Miami Vice.
No, but also the
These
thing
guys-
is that
it's
going
nothing.
back to what Imthishan was saying is like when you see in the old movies, it's like
Well,
the
but
French.
let's
It's
not-
like the French Connection, right? It's like Gene Hackman said that we were actually doing those speeds, through those tunnels. You can see the cars moving. We actually hit somebody that we weren't supposed to hit. That
What-
actually
is it-
happened.
Because it was without a permit. They filmed
They,
it.
they shot without permit, including the original Gone in 60-second movies, which they actually crashed into multiple people. But what you saw then is you saw real cars, really driving, real action. Again, with the Ronin movie. The Ronin movie was done for real on real roads. Which done. Okay, the actors were acting, but the cars were being driven, and they were being driven on the limit. And I think that there is a difference. There's a sense that you get when you see a real car doing a real action scene, as opposed to a CGI car, as good as it looks, as real as it looks, but somehow there's something, especially with car guys, that there's something about the movement, there's something about the sound that is not quite right with that. And you don't quite relate to it, you don't quite connect to it in the way that you do with authentic stuff.
Are we a dying breed?
Well, this is the thing, because again, like you said, if you have people that will get into these Chinese cars today, and they're not interested in whether it corners on its door handles or not, but they're interested in the fact that, wow, look at this screen, I can watch football on it.
But-
then you have elevated into a completely different sphere of enthusiasm. It's not the same thing anymore, is it?
I mean, going back to my Concourse event. So there's more and more Concourse. There's another new Concourse event that's just been announced at Walton House. So that makes about 6 Concours events in the UK. So, and they're very busy.
But the question is, like, who are they catering to then? Why are they being created?
Well, they're catering to the.
And also,
old
I
classic
must
cars.
bring up the price of entry to these events, because obviously, like, I'm always quite shocked, because it's really sad to say this, but I always get press passes, so I never know what the actual ticket price is, and then somebody tells me, and I'm like, oh my God. I find myself genuinely shocked. I'm like, that's the ticket price?
Well, London Concourse and Hampton Court Palace, 2 very, very, very good events.
Yeah.
And partners of our club. They had more attendees than ever last year. It gets bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
Salon Privé last year, before last time I was there, that was actually, there were so many people on a Saturday, they had to put it to 2 days, Saturday and Sunday. This new one, lots of people interest. I think it'll be quite busy. People still want to see the old cars that you never see on the road. I think that's the thing, because those Ferraris 20 years ago that were like 30, 40, 50,000 pounds, there are now 3-4 million pounds.
But the thing is, again, I say to you that when we talk about, infusing interest in new people, we're creating these concourse events which have a very high ticket price to come to the events. Yes, okay, we've got increased attendance, but are those events going to generate the next generation of enthusiasts?
No, because there's not enough of them, and also because the cars on sale now, there's nothing very iconic.
No, but now I'm talking about I'm talking about the events, because Imthishan, you left us when we were talking about movies, but then we were talking about what will inspire the next generation of youngsters, if you like, into cars. We moved on to events. I know in Dubai, since you and I started the car meets and stuff like that, I know the whole car scene there has gone crazy, and I think there's 3 or 4 major events this year, aren't there?
There's 3 or 4 major events this month. But just to make it simple, you know what will inspire car enthusiasm? Movies help. Movies are nice. That helps. But just cars that young people can afford, guys. Like, just make cars that people can actually buy. The car industry, the journalists that cover it, and that sell them, obsessed with high-end cars that people can't actually afford. Like, you to have a Ferrari. You have to have a Lamborghini to be cool. But actually, most people would like to drive cool cars. But they want something they can actually afford. Like, I saw a bunch of Miatas going up Jebel Jais yesterday. Or today, actually. Sorry, I was out there this morning. And like, why not? All the people in the show, and you never see them, but all the people in regular stuff, they're out there on the streets, they're driving. Car companies should make cars that people can actually afford to buy and drive and insure and actually get dirty and crash and fix and modify and do that again. When you've got all of the focus, what makes the most money or draws the most advertisers, but it's not what people are interested in. Young people, not everybody's going to be buying the new Ferrari F80 or whatever the heck it is, but they'll watch a
What's the starting
video
price
in the same way they'll watch a video or anything else. But that doesn't mean that that's the problem. Sorry.
I mean, the starting price of the newest Ferrari, if you want to buy one brand new, what is that? £300,000?
In the UAE or here?
Here in UK.
2 million dirhams in Dubai.
250 maybe for was a Roma, whatever the new one is, the Fiorano, I think whatever it's called. Porsche to get an 911 is 100 grand.
Yeah.
You've got to pay. In the old days, it was only
E3s are now £200, so 200.
Yeah, but the thing is, the prices have crept up in general. I was looking into this recently. I was doing some content on this, and the fact is, 10 years ago, literally just 10 years ago, the top selling car in the UK was a Ford Fiesta. The starting price on a Ford Fiesta was just over £10,000, brand new. £10,000, top selling car in the UK, you could have it. Top selling car in the UK today is the Ford Puma. The starting price on a Ford Puma is £26,500.
Wow.
This is in the space of 10 years. That's incredible. From 10 grand, which at the time that might have been expensive, but it was accessible.
How are they supposed to get in?
Sorry?
How are they supposed to get in?
And then and that's without factoring in insurance, because insurance at the moment in the UK is a real prohibitive factor, because the cost of that, especially for young people, is
26 grand. I remember.
Oh, he's gone again. But insurance has gone crazy right now. It's literally for younger people. There's another reason they don't want to get into it. They're like, well, the insurance is going to cost me more than the old banger that I'm going to buy as my first car.
Yeah, and they've got other problems like finding a place to stay, even getting a job. I mean, most of them can't get a job because AI is coming in. I don't want to go down pessimistic alley, but pessimistic alley. Pessimist alley. But you know what? I think our economy is going to go to shit. I mean, AI is going to cause problems. The Americans are causing us problems in economics wise and everything else. I think we're out of Europe. That's not going to help. I think in the UK and in a lot of countries, we are basically buggered in the next 10 years.
Yeah.
And I think buying a flashy car is going to be the least of the problems.
Yeah. Yeah.
The middle market just seems to be dying out. I've talked to lots of people and they're saying they're having problems. They've got a Ferrari, they've got a McLaren, whatever, but it's just saying, well, yeah, you know what, but I can't. They're worried about paying money to go to an event.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
this
like,
is
but
crazy.
you got to, yeah,
This
but
is
you got a
this is
McLaren,
this is,
Ferrari.
and it goes back to the point I was making earlier about, you put on these car events to generate enthusiasm, but the price to entry to those events alone for a lot of people, because again, for a lot of people, it's not just the ticket price, but it's like, it's a day out, it's getting there, it's getting back, it's the food, it's all the rest of it. It's a very expensive day out.
Well, you want to go to a car event, bring the kids down. Even if you go to someplace like Brooklands, that's going to
Mm.
cost you about £100 plus.
Yeah,
Just for a day at Brooklands.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
It's not
you
cheap.
know, unless you buy one of their passes. But it is, yeah. I think there's a lot of things happening, and it's not good for the industry. But what we need to do is actually try and get people motivated. That's what I try and do every
Mm.
day with my club drivers union. Try and get people motivated. Try and say, let's come to this event. Let's do this. Let's do that. Give them information. But it's a tough business.
Mm. Mm.
That's why I'm doing a magazine, which is even tougher. I don't know.
Magazine and books as well. Yeah. No.
Yeah. Or TV show. I really want to do a TV show. I want to do a
Do
car
you
show.
think it's worth it? I mean, isn't TV? I mean, even YouTube is now is getting more viewers than any terrestrial TV channel. So
Yeah, but
why?
the difference is, all right, I was doing a TV. I was prepping for a TV show for Amazon Prime, right? It was about Ferrari, and we were supposed to do 6 episodes of 1 hour each, and then from that we decided to do 90 minutes. I had a friend of mine who's an expert in Italian cars. I mean, he could look at a car and tell you that, those the wheel bolts are wrong. That's how much knowledge he has. We were doing that, and what I found was when I told people we're doing it for Amazon, I had a lot better response. People wanted to get involved.
Yeah.
I had contacted for 2 years. I contacted everybody. I found a rare Ferrari. I found a 3-seater Dino Speciale prototype. Yeah, no problem. It was in Germany. No problem. Listen, everything's. If I'd have told him it's YouTube, then I'm just a YouTuber.
Hmm.
That was the difference.
Hmm.
Then you've got other issues like, if I want to do a TV show, then I need to have it shown on a terrestrial channel. If I can have it shown, even if it's on Channel 5, that means I can then sell it onto a distribution company, or give it to a distribution company who can then distribute it to 97 countries around the world. I can't do that if it's on YouTube. YouTube might give you money, but YouTube is still seen, even though everybody looks at it, it's still seen as like a bottom of the rank. It's like the Beano when it compared to the Times.
Yeah, it's true.
It's
true. But even then, I mean, it's like, because I mean, I as you know, I was doing reviews for Fox MENA television in the Middle East, and what they were like 15-minute short segments. Basically, what they would do is they were the filler segments between shows, so they were constantly repeated, and they were going out in the region to something like 70 countries in the region. I mean, it was incredible. The reach was extraordinary. But the thing is, like, it's not, you think that, like, I'm on this thing, I'm doing car reviews. Okay, yes, I have been recognized once or twice because of that. But even then, you would expect the amount of feedback and, the volume of response to be much greater than it actually was, considering that it was on this channel, it was being repeated, and I know it was being repeated because people were sending me screenshots of it, even when I was back in the UK, and it was going out to all of these countries. But even then, I didn't see the level of involvement that you do from, say, one YouTube video.
You got a point, but it's all down to prestige, isn't it? Really,
the prestige of having the channel name.
Prestige of being shown on ITV or Channel 5, being shown at or a Sky channel or a Discovery channel. But once you're on there, then it's a lot easier to go to other countries, because there's a lot of countries and everybody's looking for content. All these channels on Sky, they're all looking for content. They all want content, and and there's not many people making content. So I have that itch. I bought the Aston Martin because
an itch to scratch. Imthishan, are they cutting the cables already in the Middle East, or what's happening there?
it's a Russian.
I have no idea what's going on, but it's the worst connection I've ever seen. So yeah, I think it's up and down.
Has it started? Should we be looking at BBC News right now?
But you pay no tax.
Honestly,
they'll be taxing your internet soon. That's what it is. You're not paying a tax on the internet.
To be honest, it's been a beautiful day in the Middle East. The weather is amazing. I just had a fantastic drive up Jabal Jais. Everybody's outside having a great time. Yeah, if it's the last day on Earth, it's a pretty nice day.
That's a fair point actually. To
Yeah.
be fair, it's a fair point. Like over here, it's pretty cold and miserable.
Yeah, well, it's London, it's
No, it's
England.
great. The weather's perfect. Yeah.
Dear, oh dear.
It's 25 degrees. It's 25 degrees. Everybody's out with their cars. Everybody's driving. Everybody's in a good mood. I don't know what's happening over there, but
So
we
what? So
got no
what?
issues
So
like that
whilst
over
so
here.
whilst we still got you before they cut the cables for good. So we were talking about TV shows. Do you think it's worth doing a traditional car TV anymore? Or I mean, to be honest, like I already know what it's going to say, kind of, because Imthishan and I got into the YouTube game quite early. If you think about it, Imthishan, we've been on YouTube for 2/3 of its life. You know.
And we always will be because the content is forever more.
Hmm.
I think YouTube is the dream of an old man. YouTube is the dream of somebody who wants to be a TV star, right? But sorry, I think TV is the dream of an old man.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Okay.
YouTube
Now
is
that
the
makes
No,
sense.
yeah,
Now
no,
that
yeah,
makes
I
sense.
agree.
is the future.
Now that makes
Yeah,
sense. Yeah.
Yeah,
sorry.
that must be,
I'm,
yeah.
I'm, I've been driving for 8 hours. Forgive me,
Yeah,
but
now that makes sense. And by the
yeah,
way,
I don't
Sai,
dream of being on TV
He
anymore.
just called you an old man, so that's what.
I am an old man. I'm 75 next month.
I think we're all old men, but TV, like I can't think of anybody who wants to be on TV because nobody's watching TV out here. We're all watching stuff on our phones. Why would you want to be on TV? Who's going to see you? Probably get more viewers on my personal Instagram than most of these so-called TV stars out there. So I was on radio, and radio does well out there because there's a big audience who watches, listens to stuff, I guess, and they watch some of the Instagram clips. But I think TV's day is done. TV is for shows. TV is for content or programs that are made, things that you can consume, limited series and stuff like that. But it's not for watching car shows anymore because it's too old. By the time it comes out, the story's done. Like it's finished. Nobody's waiting to watch Top Gear's review of the new Fiesta. Nobody cares. Fiesta's dead anyway.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. So nobody cares about anything except what is the most immediate, easily accessible thing. So what people are into now is response videos. So something comes out, what's somebody's response to it? What do you think about it? It's immediate reactions. It's what do I feel about this? And then what's happening next, or predictions, or basically starting wars, about what is good or bad. Like it's kind of gamer culture. That's what's taking over YouTube now. It's all about look at streamers, look at Twitch, and look at what they're doing. People are want to follow personalities. They don't want to watch some guy pontificate about cars for 10 minutes. But drive a car, cool, because they can't do that. They're not that interested.
Well, we've been at it for 70 minutes.
Sorry, I'm being a bit depressing, but it is what it is. Just the world is changing. That's all.
No. So we go back to talking about Stargate then.
I'm going to go do an application form for Tesco's and work there now. Forget the car business. Forget the car
To
club.
be
American
honest,
City.
you'd probably
What,
do
you
better with
Tesco's?
Stargate if you put a video saying, guys, Star Trek versus Stargate, guaranteed hits.
Well, I mean,
Guaranteed hits.
okay. Whilst we got you,
Absolutely.
because this is what everybody in the Star Trek universe is talking about right now. Is Starfleet Academy? Have you seen it yet?
No.
Well,
Unlikely to.
that's the end of that then. No, to be honest, it's weird because Sai and I have seen it, and it's
But I'm
actually not as
aware of it,
bad
yes.
as we thought it was going to be.
I still prefer Strange New Worlds.
Oh, Strange New Worlds is brilliant. Can't wait
That's
for the
really
next series.
good. But that's
Yeah.
going to finish, isn't it? That's the last series.
We
is
have
coming out.
no. We have 2 more series of that. We have 2 more, and then they're going to stop it.
And then they're going to do another series with Captain Kirk.
Well, that's not confirmed. I mean, that's what everybody wants. That's kind of what everybody wants them to do. They want
Yeah.
Pike to hand it over to Kirk and then to continue into that first 5-year mission. But I think the studio is balking at that because that then overlaps with the original. So I don't know how they would manage that.
Isn't this the studio owned by Larry Ellison from Oracle, isn't it?
Don't
Who's best mates with Trump. So we've got to get to Trump to persuade him to.
No, I don't want Trump to have anything to do with the Star Trek universe, honestly. Keep him as far away from it as possible. The only thing that I can envisage is that, don't forget, with the original series, I think they didn't do year 5, so they didn't complete the 5-year mission. So maybe they could do that. Maybe they
three
could jump.
seasons. The original series was 3
Yeah,
seasons.
so maybe yeah. Or they did the animated. So animated was supposed to be the year 4, I think, or something like that. And then so literally there is 1 or 2 years of stories missing at the end of the 5-year mission. So maybe they could jump to that. Maybe that would be cool.
I
See?
think it's just too
I think it starts
anarchy. I
from
mean,
scratch.
tell some new stories. Like
Well, it's
it's just tell some new stories. Like
this is the point, isn't it?
filling in
'Cause
gaps. You're just talking to fans.
yeah, but this is the point about Starfleet Academy, isn't it? Because that is a whole new thing. That's like new kids. They're literally kids. They are literally kids,
Yeah.
and they're being brought into
Is
this.
it basically like sort of a soap opera, as far as I can work out?
It's like somebody
Yeah.
described it as what was that kid? What was that show? Teenage show, Beverly 2-1 something or other.
Beverly Hills 90210.
I know 210.
Yeah, and that was basically that in space. So it's kind of like that a little bit, but there is sort of Star Trek stuff in there as well. But yeah, it's a little bit. It is a little bit like that. So when they say the next generation, they literally do mean the
In the next generation.
next generation. Yeah. But this is the
Because
thing. Maybe
it's the same
maybe
problem
we
the Marvel universe has. There's
well
too
this
much stuff.
maybe we should just be brown car guy movies and science fiction from now on. Because
You
nobody
might
wants
as
to talk
well.
about the Chinese cars.
Are they rehashing the
Nobody
next
wants to talk
$6
about
million
Chinese
man?
cars.
What was that?
$6 million man. That's being remade
Yeah,
as
but
well.
it can't. Yeah, but it can't be $6 million, can it? I mean, that's nothing.
No, unless they
That's
sell
Probably
it
6 billion now.
it's got to be 6 billion.
Yeah. 6 million won't
billion.
get you anything anymore. It won't get you a parking spot.
But that's
It
the
was
other
in that
problem.
actor.
That's the other problem is like now with the tech. You see, when they came out with $6 million Man, with Knight Rider, etc., the technologies they depicted in that seemed absolutely fantastical and crazy and impossible. But now we have those technologies. We have robotic
Yeah.
limbs, we have AI, we have all of this stuff. So how can you, for want of a better word, titillate an audience with a vision of a future that already exists today? How are you going to do that?
We all like to be
We're also
titillated.
not in a positive future. We're not in a positive future. We're not in a future where people are looking to. It all seems a bit old hat now. Positivity, egalitarian, optimism, and so on. Now people are into the dark side of this. Look at things like the Hunger Games, young adult culture. It's quite
Yeah.
dark because they grew up in dark times. They grew up in a recession if they came of age in 2010. They grew up in essentially a president who was spewing war and hate and so on for a good chunk of the 2010s, the late 2010s. Music became also about these things. Like if you look at the big stars, all of their stuff is essentially being made by the same producers. There's very little new pop music, there's little
Yeah.
variety. And the ones that are fighting with each other. Taylor Swift is fighting with Charlie XCX or whatever. So it's a dark time and people are not feeling optimism. So we tell them, oh, we're going to watch a show about happiness. People are like, yeah, that sounds mad. That sounds like complete science fiction. Who would want to watch that? They
So
want to see stuff that reflects
I've got a pitch then. The three of us, brown car guys in space on the intergalactic war on cars. That'll sell.
war on cars. We've lost the war on cars, gentlemen.
We have. To be fair, we have. All right then. Well, let's reconvene another time. Thank you so much for joining me today on this therapy podcast. I hope you feel therapified. Something.
Oh, we've got to add the Uno. We'll do it next time. Uno.
Well, I don't understand the Uno. What is it?
People in our WhatsApp group were going on about Uno, and they were saying, "Oh, it's really great. It's really great." And I bought, and it was a deal on Amazon.
And you've just broken it now.
That's okay. So, and it was a deal on Amazon. It was like £49, I think it was. And what you do is you connect it up to your phone, and when you sit in a car, it starts up. You've got to charge it up with a little Type C USB. Switch it on, and when you're driving along, when you come to, let's say, speed cameras or whatever warning, it goes ding ding ding, and then it just does a blaring siren like you can't miss it through your stereo system, and it warns you, and it warns me every single time, and it's actually quite good, and it's getting 5 out of 5 stars with our members because I'm just writing a review on it.
But Waze
does
that anyway.
Waze does the same thing.
I don't use Waze. I use Google Maps, and Google Maps I can't even hear it sometimes.
No, Google Map won't do it. We have to use Waze. And even when I use Waze, even when I know where I'm going, I still use Waze all the time now because Waze is obviously looking at traffic, it's looking at roadworks, it's looking at cameras, it's looking at everything. So I'm using Waze all the time.
Okay, I'm gonna try Waze, and I'm gonna try this at the same time. And
Give
see.
us a review next time.
I give you, but I just think it's because it's very loud. I don't know why.
Yeah,
It's
but
very loud.
that would annoy the hell out of me.
I know it's camera aware, so it's.
And you
I've
crash.
got clean license.
Well, Dubai is a camera every like 600 meters, so
Yeah.
it would go off constantly.
Yeah,
Why
it would
just
go off
leave it on?
constantly.
It
To be
would
honest,
work.
in London, there's a camera every 600 meters. It would go off constantly.
Cameras, sleeping policemen. It's a nightmare just driving potholes. It's like
Potholes.
literally.
Oh, potholes are so
Yeah.
bad. I
Yeah,
thought
go on, boys.
Oh, potholes, honestly, they are so bad right now because of the winter and everything. Literally, like you could lose a small kid in them. But that's how bad they are.
Do you know what? I had to replace a spring on my Aston Martin suspension spring because it was broken. And I think it's because, or maybe because
How
it's
do you
old.
break a spring on an Aston Martin?
Oh no, they're
How do
causing
you break a
thousands of
spring?
pounds of damage. They are. They
Yeah,
really
it broke the
genuinely
spring.
are. Broken
It's,
wheels, burst tires, broken wheels, cracked wheels, and suspensions. They're just killing cars right now.
It was. Oh, where's the photo? There you go. It,
Dropped his Uno.
oh, hang on. See, it broke off.
It's a picture of a spring, Sai. It's a picture of a spring.
I know it's a spring. It's a spring on my suspension, but the top man is.
I mean, it could be a spring from anything.
Trust me,
You didn't have to go to the effort of getting a picture of a spring. I got the picture, so to speak. Thank you for the show and tell, but I figured it out.
Right, you're welcome. As a journalist, we should all share. But I had to put you have to get top mounts for it as well. And they said, you should put top mounts, which are like £24 each. No top mounts in the UK or anywhere in the world apparently, and it's a back order so far 6 months plus. And they don't know when it's going to come in. There's no top mount. So if my top mounts are broken, I couldn't even drive the car. So Aston Martin, please get your finger out and just make some top mounts and other parts. But that's the other problem. Old cars, harder and harder to get parts from.
Just get somebody in China to.
I have a friend who's got an Aston Martin V600. You remember the V600, Shazad?
The Aston Martin V600? No, what's
V600.
that? What's a V600?
V600, Google it, gentlemen. It's really interesting. I think it's a Virage or Vantage V600. Basically, it was the Aston Lump twin supercharged in the late mid-90s. It was
All right. Oh, yeah, I see it. It's a Virage, yeah.
With the whole
one of the V.
Yeah.
600 horsepower, right? This thing, he always wanted one. He bought it in the UK. He lives in Los Angeles, so he wanted it shipped over. So Aston Martin reconditioned the car, basically bought it through Aston CPO. They completely figured out everything with the car, did everything top to bottom. As they were driving the car onto the ramp, taking it to Los Angeles, engine died completely, absolutely. After a complete nut and bolt restoration at Aston Works. So they were like, oops, sorry. Rolled it back in, and another 1 year later, the car was finally ready and went to Los Angeles.
1 year.
2 years.
Touch wood, mine is been reliable, but I think this summer I might sell it and get a Bentley GT. That's what I might do. I don't know.
You change your mind every time. Every time we speak, you change your mind because last time it was an S3. You're going to get an S3. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Which money I have.
All right. Well, we're going to leave everybody
with
Aston
is it again? Very quickly, which Aston is it?
It's a DB9 2005. It's a lovely car.
Conti GT is about as ruinous as it gets, Conti GTs, because timing chains on Conti GTs, look them up. They're right at the back of the engine, so everything is engine out service.
I mean,
everything is 16 times more complicated.
There's a reason why you can get a Conti GT for about 10 grand, or less even.
Yeah. The other option is a 911, but then I can't do the same podcast as Imthishan. So
I like 911. Shazad knows I secretly like 911.
I know he actually loves them. But there was he did say 911 drivers are pricks. He did say that, but he does secretly love them.
Yeah.
I do quite but it does. Yeah.
You can't beat them, join them, right?
Yeah, easy to maintain as well.
Comparatively, it's a Beetle. It's a Beetle.
Yeah. Well.
All right.
Get an Esprit. It's way cooler.
Esprits are cool right now. I think so. Anyway. Oh, what? Oh, before we go, then, what happened with the encore?
Uncle, yeah, I'm gonna hopefully next month. Next
Right.
month we go
So
and I'll do the
we'll have some
brochure
news.
because I yeah
Next podcast,
because I
we'll
got
have
to do
some.
the
We'll
article.
discuss that in a bit more
Yeah,
detail as well. Then, cool. All right. Well,
yeah.
anyway, thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for joining. This is the live version. I'll put the recorded version up soon, and stay tuned. We will come back with another Brown Car Guy Therapy podcast very soon, talking about science fiction and maybe some cars.